Hi, my name is Heather Christie, and I am the president of the Florida Speakers Association, which is the South Florida chapter of the National Speakers Association. And I am thrilled to have our November speaker with us today, Dick Bruso. Welcome, Dick.
Well, thank you, Heather. I'm delighted to be with you.
Well, it's so great to have you, and thank you so much for taking some extra time and filming this video so that we can share with people what value, tremendous value, you're going to bring to our chapter on November 4th, which is a Saturday. So I just want to start off and let people know a little bit about who you are and how I got to know you. Dick is, he's been a professional speaker for at least 20 years now and has been a member of NSA for probably almost that long. And in his practice, he has spoken to over 100 chapters. I know for a fact that some of the chapters that you've spoken to, you've pulled the highest attendance of any meeting they've ever had because your topic is all about the brand. So Dick's brand is called Heard Above the Noise. And I'm going to let him tell you just a little bit about what his program is going to be about. And then I'm going to share some personal insights too of what I know from Dick and why I was just adamant that he come to the South Florida chapter. So Dick, would you do us the favor of giving us just a little bit of what you're going to share at the November 4th meeting?
Absolutely. Well, the program is called the Branding Extravaganza. It's two parts. The first part is how to be heard above the noise, branding your uniqueness. And we're going to spend about an hour and a half where I'm going to be sharing how you go about the branding process based upon your story, who you are, your values, your ultimate message, etc. And then the second part, which has become very popular, is called brainstorming, where we will select a couple people via lottery from the audience to come up, and we're going to demonstrate how to create a brand right there in front of the audience. And it's a phenomenal process. I have a lot of fun doing it, and I don't know these people when they first come up, but after we're done, I got to know them quite well, and so has the audience. And the audience really gets involved in the process as well.
Got it. Okay, so I've heard about this brainstorming, and I've heard that it's one of the most popular parts of your program to actually get to witness how we can take part one of this, brainstorming on branding and actually see it put into action. So super excited about that. Now, Dick, you have actually helped brand approximately 1 in 20 NSAers, including Hall of Famers and CSPs and presidents of chapters. How is it that you've been able to get so much work done with so many of our members?
Well, I'm a strong advocate of referrals. And so I get all my business, really 99% from referrals, much like how we had met, and also through speaking. And so if I hone my craft, as I encourage my clients and my audiences to do, then my job is to serve my audiences and my clients as well as I possibly can. And to me, it's a lot of fun. My clients become my friends, much like you and I've developed a wonderful friendship as well as with your husband, Paul. So for me, it's like a kid in a candy store. I'm loving it.
Yeah, well, we do too. And as you said, we were referred to you through another colleague at NSA, and I hadn't even gotten to see you present yet. So I've never seen your chapter program. But after spending a couple of days with you and actually going through your one-on-one process and helping us to really dive into and narrow and niche our brand, I just knew that I had to bring you to our chapter. So anything else that you can tell us about what people will walk away with after attending your session?
Well, I call this the Branding Extravaganza 2.0. And the reason I do that is I put a lot of emphasis on the value of story. Everyone has a unique story. And that's where the brand really evolves from. Once I get to know one's story, then I can create a brand, a tagline, and the proper positioning in the marketplace. And what's really interesting about this, Heather, is that when people come and they attend, they may not be possibly one of the two people that are caught up for the brainstorming, but they're watching this happen and they're saying, wow, I can do that. Or they've learned how to apply it to their careers and to their lives. And I've had both men and women cry for happy in terms of just, wow, somebody's got me. They understand who I am. And see, that's what makes for an authentic speaker. If we understand who we are, the uniqueness of our story, and the message that we bring to the marketplace, and we're on track, we're really in line in terms of who we are and what we want to accomplish and what we want to give back to this world, then great things happen. So I think of some of my clients, the great grandson of Winston Churchill, and we created a brand, Lead Like Churchill. And then I asked him, what are the tenets of what made Churchill who he was? And we agreed it was courage, faith, integrity. And that's where the tagline came from. Another individual, Chris Johnson, who's into lifestyle and physical well-being, we created On Target Living. And the last several years, he's been attending the Millionaires Program at NSA. But when we first sat down about 8 or 9 years ago, this brand didn't exist. But what I found out, he was all about being on target. What kind of life do you want to live? And we created On Target Living. And then someone you may know, Sandy Giroux, who's past president of the Central Florida chapter of NSA, we work together. And if you ever meet her, have you met Sandy?
I know of Sandy, but I don't think that we've met in person.
Well, the two of you will really hit it off. She's got that wonderful personality like yourself, and she lights up a room when she comes into it. So what we work with her is how to turn your workplace into a wow place. And we created Wow Place International. And it's worked so well for her that when people hear that phrase, they're saying, I want that. So, but it's very much in terms of who she is, because she likes to go into a workplace and say, let's turn this around. Let's make this a wow place, a place that people love to work at. So again, whatever that branding is, it goes back to that person's personality, their message, their story. And I'm going to demonstrate not only what those factors are in more depth in part 1 of my program, and in part 2, then we'll demonstrate through brainstorming how that can happen.
Excellent. I can't wait to experience that part of the program, especially. Now, there was one other thing that I just wanted to mention, in that we have obviously many professional speakers who are members of the organization, but there are also going to be people attending who have never attended a Speakers Association meeting before. We tend to pull a lot of entrepreneurs, we pull coaches, we pull consultants, experts, authors, and I want to make sure that as people are hearing this, they're thinking about their brand and how they're messaging that to the world. So Dick, does it include all of those people who I just talked about there?
Absolutely. In fact, on my card, I'll just read this. I haven't really memorized, but helping good people accomplish great things in a noisy marketplace. So that's my tagline. The reason I mention that, if they're good people and they're really trying to make a difference, it doesn't matter if they're an entrepreneur, a CEO, an author, speaker, wherever they come from and whatever their job is, we can focus on that and show them how to not only develop a brand, but expand their brand and their positioning in the marketplace. And I think that's really important. My company is called Heard Above the Noise. Why do I call that by that name? Because I'm the eldest of 9, so that seemed like a likely choice. But I'm all about helping my clients and my audiences how to be heard above the noise, how to stand out. Because the marketplace is getting noisier and noisier with social media, everything that's occurring. How do you stand out? How do you separate yourself from the crowd and truly be heard above the noise? So I don't care what your profession is, if you want to come and really learn how to position yourself in the marketplace much more effectively and have fun in the process, then please come out on November 4th. We're going to have a great time together.
Well, Dick, I know you also have some goodies planned and some bonuses that people will want to get their hands on, and we won't give that away. But I just appreciate you. I appreciate the time that you're investing in coming all the way out to our chapter on the other side of the country. And after having worked with you personally, one thing I can say is you have just one of the most incredible bases of knowledge when it comes to branding of anyone that I've worked with before. So really just a glowing testimonial for me and my personal work with you. But for everyone who, I don't even care if you have your brand developed. When I started working with you, our brand was developed, but but to just get more clarity in how you're positioning that in the marketplace. And some of you, you may be struggling with who you are and what lane to choose. And if you haven't chosen a lane yet, this is a meeting that you don't want to miss, because you're going to hear why that's such a critical component of your business.
It is, because the reality is it's all about clarity and focus. And because speakers in particular, as well as entrepreneurs, tend to be curious about a lot of things, the ability to say no is very difficult. But you have to have the ability to say no so you can say yes to the right things and keep that focus. And all of a sudden you start penetrating the marketplace and you're much more successful. And if your brand really speaks to the marketplace, then great things happen.
Awesome. Well, Dick, any parting words from you before we get to see you live and in person on November 4th?
Well, I guess I could say this more than anything else. Do what you love, and you will be a magnet in the marketplace. I love what I do. I'm 73 and still feel like a kid in a candy store, as I mentioned earlier. And I love what I do. And that's what I want everyone that comes to understand. Do what you love, follow your passion, and do it with authenticity. And you will have a life that's an envy for many, many other people in this world we live in.
Oh my gosh, that's such great advice. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. And we will be sharing this message with everyone in South Florida who either is a professional speaker or somebody who's a professional who speaks. But those of you who ever take the microphone for any reason and you really want to hone your message and hone your brand, I can't wait for you to meet Dick Bruso. Thanks again, Dick.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Heather.
Okay, and for those of you watching, you can go to www.floridaspeakers.org and get all the specifics, and you can register there on our website. Dick, you have a great night.
You too. Thanks so much.
Thanks.